Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to be going over the particle dake, which is going to translate to basically just or only. So the Japanese dake is basically going to work very similar to the English just. We can use it with adjectives, nouns, and verbs. You can say things like just him, just me, just by doing this, just by doing that. And the way that we use it is we just basically plug it in right after the word that we want to use it with. This is very in line with how Japanese particles work. I kind of refer to them as postpositions as opposed to English prepositions because they are inserted post after the word that you use them with as opposed to before the word prepositions like in English. So just blank instead of just blank, in Japanese it'll be blank dake. So we've actually used this particle in two previous video lessons, but those video lessons were kind of more the advanced grammar patterns using this particle. We never really covered the general topic of it. So we're going to do that today just so that we can make sure that you know there's kind of the general context and usage of it. Dake is kind of similar to another particle that we use to kind of mean only as well, the particle shika. That one is only used in negative form statements, but for dake we can use dake in both positive and negative form sentences. So there's nothing really more to explain context-wise, so we'll jump into some example sentences now. So our first example sentence is going to be今日だけバナナパクチー味のアイスが買えるよ。スーパー限定だから. This line right here, which is basically two sentences, is going to translate to something along the lines of the banana coriander flavor ice cream is available only today. It's super limited edition. So now we're going to break this sentence or two sentences down bit by bit to see how it's working along with this grammar pattern of dake with some word to mean only that word here. So first up, what is our first word? We have actually the grammar pattern from right off the bat. We're going to use it with the word kyo, which means today. That's a noun word. That doesn't really matter because you can use dake with any kind of word, but in this case it's a noun. So if kyo means today, then we have kyo dake, that's basically going to mean just today or only today. Let's move along with the sentence and we get this kind of slew of words that's actually just part of one kind of grammar pattern. It's just describing this thing. Banana pakuchi味のアイス. This is going to be banana coriander flavor ice cream. This right here is a noun of a noun modification using two nouns, in which the first noun is kind of just this very compound noun. It's banana pakuchi aji. This means banana coriander flavor. Banana, of course, means banana. Pakuchi is the Japanese word for coriander, and aji is flavor. So banana coriander flavor is the first noun. We're going to attach it to the second noun, which is aisu, which is the Japanese word for ice cream. So banana pakuchi aji, banana coriander flavor no aisu is going to be ice cream of banana coriander flavor, or just simply banana coriander flavor ice cream. My mouth is like dry just from saying banana pakuchi aji no aisu so many times. I need some ice cream. Okay, so moving on with the sentence now, we just have a couple of words left. We have the particle ga, then we have kaeru, then we have yo to end the sentence. Kaeru is going to be the potential form of the verb kao, which means to buy. So kaeru is going to mean to be able to buy or can buy. The particle that is used with the potential form is usually ga, so that's explaining the ga that we have right before that. Then the ending sentence particle yo is just kind of the explanatory particle, so it's like explaining to you that this is the only day where you can buy, or when you can buy, banana coriander flavor ice cream. Kyou dake banana pakuchi aji no aisu ga kaeru yo. So yeah, you can see how the emphasis of only is on the word that we used it with today. So only today, or you can just today is when you can get the ice cream. And that's pretty much enough to explain the grammar pattern here. The second sentence right there, super gentei dakara. Super is super. Gentei is kind of limited edition. It's commonly used to describe, of course, products that are limited edition. And then dakara is just because, so because it's limited edition. Okay, so that wraps it up for our first example right there. That is covering the usage of dake with a noun. Moving on, I think it's going to be too easy or too simple or too boring if we just continue the pattern of using it with an adjective and then a verb, especially since we've done previous videos of grammar patterns using this grammar pattern, and one of them is specializing on using it with a verb. So we're going to kind of go off the formula in this lesson. Our next example sentence, we're going to focus on how dake as a particle can replace other particles. So for our next example sentence here, we're going to have the line yabai, hanbun no lesson dake benkyou shita. And this is going to translate to basically, oh no, I only studied half of the lesson. So the context of the conversation here is probably they're talking about some test that's about to happen, and he's like, oh crud, I didn't study enough for it, I only studied half of the lesson. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we just have this statement, yabai. This is basically a word that's commonly used to say, oh, this is bad, or oh no, or oh crap. Moving on, we have the noun of a noun modification, hanbun no ressen. This is going to be the word hanbun, which means half, and then ressen, which means lesson. So hanbun no ressen is going to be half of the lesson. This is going to be the word or kind of conjoined word, since it's a noun and noun modification, that we're going to use with our grammar pattern here, dake. So hanbun no lesson dake is going to be only half of the lesson, or just half of the lesson. So we're using dake here with a noun again. Don't sweat that too much. Let's move on. So we're going to see now that the noun of a noun modification, hanbun no ressen, is also going to be the direct object of our sentence, as in it's the thing that I did the action upon, basically. The action that I did is going to be the verbal noun benkyou suru, which means to study. It's in the past form, so suru turns into shita, so benkyou shita is going to mean study. And so as we should know here, to mark a direct object of an action, we use the direct object particle / marker o. In this case, we don't see the o anywhere in the sentence, and the reason behind that is because we're using the particle dake already, and it can act as both itself, the dake to mean just, as well as the direct object marker o. So altogether, once again, the sentence, yabai, hanbun no ressen dake benkyou shita is going to translate to, oh no, I only studied half of the lesson. What is my action? To study. What did I study? Half of the lesson. So half of the lesson is the direct object. We don't need the direct object marker o there, because we already have dake to serve kind of both particles. So that's the takeaway here, that the particle dake, when used, it can replace other particles, but in this case it doesn't necessarily have to, because in this sentence we could have just equally done dake o, and that would have also made sense grammatically if we kept the o in there, but you get to choose, basically. Another thing to point out here is that with some certain particles that you use dake in a kind of particle combination with, you can kind of reverse the order, as in if you used it with the particle ni, you could say dake ni, or you could say ni dake, and they would both be grammatically correct, but depending on what it is, it might be more natural or more common to use it one way as opposed to the other. In this particular case, using it with o, we can't switch it around. With some, you just have to use the set order. So these are things that you kind of have to remember once you come across them. So dake o is the only combination you can use it as. When you're using it with o, you can't say o dake. So let's actually give an example of using it with the particle ni, just to show you how we can reverse it. Let's say we have the line, kare wa sukaeru hito dake ni yasashi. So this line right here is going to translate to basically, that guy is only nice to people who are useful. We could have just as easily gone with the example sentence altered to be kare wa sukaeru hito ni dake yasashi, and that also would have been 100% grammatically fine. So let's break down the sentence here just to make sure we're getting a grasp of everything in here. First off, we start out with kare, which is he or that guy. We have the particle wa to mark him as the topic. After that, we have the word sukaeru, which is kind of an adjective that means useful. It's basically just the potential form of the verb sukao, which means to use, so to be able to use. That right there is modifying the word hito, which means person or people, so useful people, people who can be used. Now we need our particles here. We want to say only people who can be used, and kind of two people he can use. So we need a double particle combination there, so we're either going to choose dake ni or ni dake. Either one's fine. And then we end the sentence with the word yasashi, which is the adjective that means nice or friendly. So he's friendly only to people who are useful. Kare wa sukaeru hito dake ni or ni dake yasashi. So yeah, that's how the usage of only / just dake in Japanese here is different from the English language. In English, you can't switch the order right there. You can't say only two people as well as two only people. That doesn't make sense, but in Japanese you can do that. Dake ni and ni dake. But you can only do that with certain particles, like I said earlier. So now let's go through another particle similar to the direct object particle o, in which if you use dake with them, you can only use it in one order, just like in English. You can only say only two, not as opposed to two only. Our next particle that we're going to use with dake is going to be the particle ga. So when we use dake and we use ga in a particle combination, it can only be in the order of dake first, then ga second. So dake ga. So our example sentence to illustrate this will be the line, 僕だけが犯人の顔を見ました. This is going to translate to basically only I, or it was just me who saw the criminal's face, the culprit's face. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up we have boku, which means I, and we have our grammar pattern slash particle here, dake. This of course is going to mean only or just. If we were to make a sentence without this expression or this idea of just me, and we wanted to just say me, then of course we would use the subject marker ga without dake. But since we're using dake here, we need to use both of them. So we have dake and ga, and we use it in the set order of dake first and then ga. So only I. So boku dake ga. Then we finish the sentence hannin, which means culprit. We have a noun of a noun modification here. Hannin is the first noun. The second one is kao, which means face. So hannin no kao is going to be criminal's face or culprit's face. That right there is going to be the direct object of the subject, boku's action. So the action is miru, which means to see in the past form, mimashita, so saw. So what did I saw? What did I see in the past? The culprit's face. So altogether, once again, boku dake ga hannin no kao o mimashita. Only I saw the criminal's face, the culprit's face, or it was just me who saw the criminal's face. So there you go, an example sentence using the particle dake with the particle ga together in the only order that you can use it in. And yeah, so branching off of that idea, there are a bunch of other particles that we didn't cover because it would have been way too long of a video if we covered all of them. Those you'll have to find out the combinations that you can use with dake as you come across them. So keep an eye out for those. That's going to be our last example sentence. One thing that I do want to point out before we end this lesson is that there is kind of a more formal version of the particle dake, and that is the particle nomi, which is again more formal, and you'll probably only really see it in written language, but it pretty much means the same thing, is used in the same way, same function, etc. With that said, I'm going to provide links to grammar patterns that are similar to this one in the description and the comments below. The two that I can think of off the top of my head are dake de wanaku slash dake janaku, to mean not only or not just but also. And then the other grammar pattern is dake de, then we have like a verb or a noun. So yeah, since dake is a particle, you can kind of expect to see it in other grammar patterns because particles are kind of wide usage things. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed your time doing so. If you'd like to express that, you can like the video, leave a comment below, or subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to support more of these video lessons, please do consider checking out our Patreon page. Also included on the screen right now are of course a bunch of links on where to find and follow us elsewhere online. Lastly, check out our Discord server. We've got a community of hundreds of, so if you're looking for somebody to voice chat with just to practice speaking Japanese, or if you just want to talk about anime or music or manga. And with that, see you next time.